So, I know the CCSF is celebrating the 25th anniversary of Creatures 1, and that's really exciting because it was the very beginning of our beloved series. But Docking Station turned 20 in the spring of this year, and I feel like that got a little overlooked. Of course, I'm biased, because DS is my game of choice, but I would take any excuse to celebrate it. Anyway, I took this opportunity to make just a few little updates to some of my old agents, starting with the Magic Words core. One of the silly things I did when I made the core literally a decade ago was to have the core force all the text entered into the speech bubbles to lowercase before passing it into the modules, which really limited what the modules could do. So with this update, developers can choose to allow their module to receive the text exactly as it was entered by prefacing their magic word in the name variables with a dash instead of an underscore. To demonstrate this, I'm also releasing a simple command for hand naming your creatures, now that you can actually capitalize their names and all. I've also updated the creature name tags a little bit too. On the surface they look pretty much the same, but under the hood they've been optimized a little so they're less resource heavy, and there's been a few bug fixes. You might notice they don't take as long to update after you change a creature's name now, which is handy if you're renaming your creatures a lot for some reason. On a totally different note, I've made a tiny update to the Hera script for those who like using the Hera scenario. Now, if you want, you can use Magic Words command Hera pause if you decide that you want to freeze scores in place or let the boys back in for a while. While Hera is paused, the score calculation and the mysterious pregnancies and the male creature auto-exporting just stops. All your eggs will still hatch female though. When you want to resume Hera, you can just type Hera pause again to toggle it. And lastly, I've dusted off my old DS Splicer conversion and revamped it just a little. I first released this for, if you can believe it, CCSF 2009, and at the time I was pretty pleased with it. I have had a few people request that I make it compatible with the expanded Capolata, so I did that, and then ended up doing a few more fixes while I was at it. The old sedative gas was replaced with Soul Freeze, which is just a much more thorough method of pausing creatures so they don't age and die if you forget and leave it on, like I always do. It's also just had a lot of positioning adjustments so bigger creatures fit in the pods and Gaia splices don't glitch into the wrong locations and stuff. It's also sensitive to some existing agents, so if you have Hera running, the Splicer won't splice creatures into males by default. And if you have the non-binary patch installed, you'll have the same chance of getting non-binary creatures from the Splicer as you would from a natural egg. It's still a little slow and antiquated as an agent, and there's faster ways to get a mass splicing done these days, but it's still nice for nostalgia, and this seemed like a good excuse to give it a little love. Anyway, I hope you're all enjoying CCSF. I know I'm super hyped. It's been a really interesting year, and we've got interesting times ahead, so take care, and happy Norning.